are live. Yeah, Glenn's got that amazingly long pause. I could say it 15 friggin' times. What's up, Glenn? Good to see you, brother. Who else do we have on here? We've got some friends joining us here today. There's Adrian, Evelyn, Mary Stewart, of course, Bill, Rose. Good to see you, Gail. Joe and Gina are both here. Star, there's my friend Star. Look at that smile. Mark, good to see you. Sandy, I've got like this red thing that is named Sandy. Hi, Sandy, the red thing. I can't see you, but I see a red thing. Jane and Neil, good to see you, of course. Kim is here. Daisy's on the beach. Nancy and Edward, Janet. Wow, look at all these awesome people. Joe, Mandy, Nikki, Nicola, who does our group meditation tomorrow. That's going to be fun. Adine and Therese and everyone else who can't fit on a single screen. I am John Lavenia. I am back here in civilization. And it's good to be back, although I just had an interesting experience, my first ever family camping experience. That's not what we're going to be talking about here today, although I will give you a couple of tidbits. We went over to camp by a lake up in the White Mountains of Arizona, which I had also never been to. I've lived in Arizona on and off for the last 20 years, but it is really, really cool. And I took my 9, almost 10-year-old daughter, and we, roasted weenies by the fire, and we slept under the stars, which you could actually see stars because we're not in the city. It's like amazing when you look up in the sky. In fact, my wife made a comment. She's never seen Orion so immense, so beautiful. So that was, if you're in the White Mountains at 2 a.m, check out Orion. What else? We went fishing, didn't catch anything. Actually, I should say we caught the same thing we caught last time we went fishing. So, which was nothing, but we got our fishing licenses. That's good. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing that came of all this is that we got to hit reset. We kind of, and this does coincide with where I'm going, with where my brain's going here today. We kind of hit reset on the whole routine thing. And I like my routine. Okay. We're going to talk about routines here in just a minute, but we got distance from things that encumber our life and our time, right? Things that impinge on our time and our space without us necessarily knowing, because we got distance from that. Now we are looking at, all right, how are we going to create our battle plan for our day? We start our day around here with some quiet time, thoughtfulness, meditation, reading, study, right? Sort of reminding ourselves of who we are and where we're going with all this, right? Why are we showing up, and what are we going to do? We got 24 hours until we sit down and do this again. I say we, I'm talking about me and my wife. Okay, my wife was reading a book this morning. She's committed to reading every day. Okay, and with nothing else that was impinging on her, because we do this sort of morning routine before we get into the busyness, the doingness of the day, the work, how many emails do I have? 129 emails that have come in since I closed my computer on Friday. Those of you who are on our Be Heard broadcast on Friday, you know that I was doing that with the phone in my pocket and wearing a headset because I was packing my backpack to go and hit the trail. But the idea that we can hit the reset button and then assess deliberately and look at, is this something that I want to bring back into my routine now? Because my routine just got broken. By the way, that's one of the main aversions I have to doing things like I just did this weekend. It's like, well, what about my routine? What if a sales call comes in? What if, somebody needs help with something, or, right? What if? And that brings up the idea for me when I think about unwillingness to unplug. Okay, so if you had to ask me, John, which thing would you be more comfortable with? Just working all the time or taking lots of breaks? Working all the time. And so that made me think, all right, have I chosen the wrong path? I'm thinking about Robert Kiyosaki and his cash flow quadrant. Many of you have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad or Cash Flow Quadrant. I've been on a little bit of a Kiyosaki kick lately, despite the fact that we're amid Think and Grow Rich. We're definitely doing the Napoleon Hill thing through, the duration of the Think and Grow Rich book. Tonight we're on the chapter on auto-suggestion. Short chapter, but arguably the most important chapter in the whole book, which also relates to what's going through my brain here today. So Kiyosaki, though, he talked about the employee quadrant, the self-employed, the business owner, the investor. Self-employed, business owner, investor, employee. All right, which one are you? And I think, well, certainly growing up, getting a job at a young age and learning how to be an employee because that's what previous generations had demonstrated to me. I was born into the employee quadrant. I didn't know any successful, investors or business people. That seemed totally foreign to me. Some weird special people do that. So I identified as an employee and I behaved as an employee. I showed up and I got jobs. I kept jobs. I lost jobs. I get different jobs. Okay. And then I was like, this sucks. I'm going to do something a bit more, causative and self-determined. And I started a business, self-employed. I jumped quadrants. Okay. And I worked my ass off. That was the commonality with the employee quadrant. In fact, I worked harder than I worked in the employee quadrant, because now I'm the manager, right? I'm the boss, and I'm the toughest boss I ever had, right? So the self-employed quadrant, which did produce, my goodness, way more money than the employee quadrant. In my case, I know some people, they're chugging along at 100,000, 200,000 a year as an employee. They go climbing the corporate ladder. They're playing whatever political games need to be played in that space, and they're happy with their life. And they work 8 to 10 hours a day. 10 hours a day, that sounds part-time to me as a self-employed guy. Okay. And then I look at what are the other ramifications of that. The ramifications are I tend to not take time off. I tend to not go in the woods and I say go fishing, okay, but cast a line into the water and play with water, right? That's basically what we did. I got fishing license, but apparently I didn't need one. I could have done that in the swimming pool. But we're gonna do some more fishing now that we've got tackle and fishing licenses and stuff. But the idea of having balance in life, this is something that I don't know how many of you can relate to this, because I know some of you, Nicola, for example, right? We had a conversation publicly here in the chat some time ago about how I get busy and I forget to eat. And I think Nicola was the one who said, I've never missed a meal in my life. So she's got a bit more balance than I would have in that area, right? So you operate the body, you feed the body, right? I operate, and I sometimes, all I see is the objective, and I just keep working towards that. What's the problem with that? The problem is that regardless of how big one's purpose is, that may cause one to want to work, right? What is work? On purpose action. That's a good 4-letter word, work. I like work. Okay. And there's joy in that, right? Accomplishment and all that kind of stuff. That's great. I know in completely different industries, musicians, for example, they'll just keep working on that guitar or whatever their instrument is to the point where they've got the product that they want, right? That's the result, the beautiful music. Okay, well, we've also got to have, my goodness, other roles in my life. I'm a father. I'm a father. Imagine that, right? I'm a husband, right? I'm a mentor, right? I'm a business coach. I'm a salesperson. I do consulting work. I do, excuse me, got a little smoke. I breathed a lot of campfire smoke. I'm still smelling it, by the way. In fact, the whole car smells like that. Which I guess is nice. I guess it's better than other things that it could smell like, right? But we had the back hatch open on the minivan and the campfire going and smoke went in. And so we have a smoky, it's like an incense, I suppose. But there's got to be other roles too. We can't just work, which is a weird thing to hear coming out of my own mouth, because I love my work in its various forms. Okay. So then that brings up the idea that if I have been strictly and only in the self-employed quadrant, and I've allowed myself to get comfortable in that, to be indoctrinated or even self-indoctrinated into that, because yes, it is a substantial jump from employee. Okay. But what does that lead to? Does that lead to having balance in life? No. What's wrong with these other two quadrants? Why are they so foreign? Business owner, right? Or bigger business owner, as Kiyosaki qualifies that. Okay. Because certainly as a self-employed person, yes, you've got a business. But the idea of delegation and getting leverage and developing your strengths while managing your weaknesses with the strengths of others, that seems so foreign to me. But that's where leverage comes from, right? I mean, imagine if everybody was just like you. I've done this. What if everybody was just like me? Wow, what a crazy world that would be. Crazy. Okay. I don't want a mirror, right? Can you be good at something I'm not? Great. Here's some money. Let's do it. And so I've stepped into that quadrant, which allows me to go spend a weekend in the woods and, fishing and whatever. right? Being of a different role, participating in a different role in my life, and experiencing this elusive balance thing. And an investor, right? I've done a little bit in that, right? You start getting good at any of these other quadrants. Any of these other quadrants can lead to you participating as an investor. So that brings up the idea, again, with the thought of balance and routines, the idea of feeding this machine, this, let's say, money machine, this survival machine. I mean, what's the point of money, right? Is that you can provide a lifestyle, you pay your bills, buy food, whatever, right? Get the Lamborghini if that's what you want. Okay. But the idea of all of these quadrants is that you can get to a point where not only are you enjoying the journey, which hopefully you're doing regardless of which quadrant you're in, but that you can also have balance, that you can take breaks, right? And as our businesses grow, and I know many of us are engaged in multiple streams of income, multiple businesses, multiple roles that you play. That's a balancing act. Okay. But as you get traction in one, you can do another. Maybe this one's going so well, you could take a step back from that, maybe delegate some of the rote, routine things that need to be done. And now you can plant some other seeds over here. That's really cool. And so I think how many of us, and whether you're here with us live as a full-blown member of the mastermind, or you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, take inventory. Have you pigeonholed yourself into either working all the time, which is what I had gotten very comfortable doing for years of my life, or maybe just avoiding risk, right? What is an entrepreneur? One who assumes greater than higher risk for the purpose of business and profit, right? That's an entrepreneur. Have you avoided that? Maybe you don't want that. Okay, that's fine. Have you participated in the investor quadrant, right, where you can transition ultimately from earned income to capital gains? Capital gains is nice. It's taxed differently too, right? So yes, you're earning money, let's say, at your job. Okay, fine. So you're an employee. That's fine. But do you pay yourself first? For much of my life, I didn't. Even when I started making big money, there were these financial planners, right, who talked about, there's a book that we definitely have to read. Some of you have read it, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. Richest Man in Babylon, amazing book. And one of the first laws of gold in that book is that part of all you earn is yours to keep. So you make $1, that's 10 cents for you. You pay yourself first, right? To start thy purse to jingling is what it says in the book. His purse was lean. There were but few coppers. He desired silvers and golds, right? Start thy purse to jingling. And then, the next rule is you get those little coppers to start having babies. And next thing you know, you got some silvers in there, right? So we're talking about capital gains, investing, not ridiculously. And like we're running through a Vegas casino rolling the dice. Okay. But based on your risk tolerance, engaging in some of that capital gains experience. So we're talking about having multiple quadrants and multiple streams of income operating simultaneously. This leads to the ability to have some flexibility in our lives. And isn't that one of the main reasons that I would say any of us are here, right? Is because we desire to be, do, and have more in terms of financial liberty, time flexibility, location flexibility. I made money while I was on the campsite. I didn't know it because my computer wasn't running. Okay. But I made money while I was on the campsite. That's nice. That is really nice. Okay. It wasn't because I was selling the fish. Apparently no sale was made. No sale. Well, Arizona Fish and Game, wildlife division or whatever, they got money. Okay. But no fish bought my deal. My deal was earthworms and power baits and various lures. No sale. But the but the idea that we can experience, yes, different roles in our life, and some of them have nothing to do with earning money. Can anyone relate to this? I mean, I sometimes think, well, it's just me. Well, that's kind of ridiculous. There's 7 billion people on the planet. I'm sure there are people who also can relate to this one idea of being a workaholic, so to speak. But hey, I was born into it. I got a great excuse. Well, where's the evolution in that? So back to my idea of routine. I love my routine. I am concerned when I leave my routine, like I just did this weekend. But the beauty of that, the other side of that, is that now I can look objectively at the routine, because now I've gotten away from it a little bit. I could say I choose that, and it may be all the same stuff that I was doing last week. It may be all the same stuff. Nothing's changed. Fantastic. Let's just get back to exactly what we were doing because it was optimized. Or not. Or not. I could say, you know what? That thing eats up time and it produces nothing. Let's get rid of that. And if we all did this, it'd be interesting, even if we just eliminated or added one thing. Because I've often said habits beat heroics. Habits beat heroics. A lot of times, and you've seen this in your life, right? Where someone seems so fluid, so easy, and they're so competent at doing something, since we're talking about fish. Growing up in New Jersey, getting on the boats, going out in the Atlantic Ocean, catching bluefish, the deckhands on those boats, they could fillet a bluefish blindfolded, right? They could do this stuff, and it's like boom, 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 boom. Here's your fillets, done. Whoa, right? Just like that. Me, it would have to be like, oh, very deliberate. Where do I put the knife here? I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm doing it wrong. Oh, I'm going at the wrong angle. Holy crap, right? Wrong, wrong, wrong. And it would seem like this big heroic effort. But these guys who have a habit of doing that, habits beat heroics, right? So these guys, boom, 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 boom. It's kind of like the, since we're talking about fish and knives, the hibachi, benihana, right? The guys with, and they're flying, here's the spatula, here's the eggs, here's the Japanese guys, right? They got the big hat and they're banging on the iron, and it's like a whole show that they're giving you here, right? Shrimp, they have shrimp flying across the table. Competent habits. They didn't do that because they showed up yesterday and say, hey, I want to be a hibachi chef. No, they've been doing that a long time. So we can get really good at some stuff and go way faster than all the force and the effort that's required to do this as a novice. So can we choose, perhaps, and there's two sides to this, to eliminate something that hasn't been serving us that we do habitually anyway, right? Habits beat heroics, even if it's on the wrong vector. We're going in the wrong direction. We're doing it really good too. We're crushing it, right? With going in the wrong direction. Okay, so let's see what we could eliminate. We got to go a little distance, take some inventory. Okay, and then what could we add? What could we replace it with? Because habits, you don't just end a habit, right? You got to replace it with something else. I've heard people who are attempting to quit smoking, right? Who failed and failed and failed, right? They started chewing on celery. Whenever they wanted a cigarette, they grab a celery stick, and that replaced the habit. And then ultimately, maybe they eat the celery or not. By the way, celery is amazing stuff. It takes more calories to burn, to process the celery than the celery actually provides. So if you just ate celery, you're guaranteed to lose weight, guaranteed. So eat celery. But but what could we add? What could we deliberately say? I want that in my life. I want to become competent at that. Is it reading every day? Well, hopefully you're already doing some of that, like daily study, whether it's based on business, personal development, philosophy, whatever you're into. Right? Something resourceful, hopefully. Okay. But those who don't read are no better off than those who can't read. So friggin' read, right? Do something, right? Is that something you would like to add? Or maybe you're already doing that. Maybe there's something else. Maybe it's product research, right? For your business. Maybe it's social media. Maybe it's promotion, some sort of promotion or advertising or PR. I posted to Facebook twice over the last weekend. Some of you may have seen it. I'm looking now at a social media manager. We're looking to hire one, right? So I know that's not my strong suit. Okay, so other people, yeah, they've got a habit with that. Do I want that habit? Probably not. There are probably people better. See, that's the business owner thinking in me now, right? I look at friends of mine like Grant Cardone. Any of you ever studied Grant Cardone's work? 10x rule, right? I mean, it's pretty. I see Glenn with his thumbs up, right? It's pretty basic in terms of the philosophy of it, right? It's like, oh, well, let's 10x our expectations and our estimation of how much effort it'll take, right? Most people, they're like part-timers, right? They want this big result and they're, they'll try a little bit. No, we're going to hit it so friggin' hard, right? 10 times harder. And so he's everywhere, right? Whether you like his content or not, everywhere you look, there he is. And if you know Grant Cardone, or maybe he shows up in your news feed or something, and he's on every platform. Is that him? Is that him doing that? No, he's got a staff of people. He's bringing in $100 million a year. He's paying an entire staff of people out of his office down in Miami. Huge operation. It's not Grant, right? I mean, Grant runs his mouth in front of a camera, hands it to his people. They polish it up, do whatever they're going to do. I guess they publish the good stuff and trash the rest. I don't know. I don't know what he does, but I'm going to know because I'm going down that road now too. And I know enough to know that that's not the road that I personally want to go down. Am I making a point? What are we doing every day that's serving us? Or what are we doing every day that's not serving us? You got to be willing and able to look. And a lot of times we're not able to look because we're in the thick of it. As Steve Covey said, in the thick of thin things. And I think that's how I've spent a lot of my life, in the thick of thin things. Distance, objectivity, right? Having a little bit of a third-party look at something. And that's why mentoring works so nice, right? You got somebody who's not emotionally involved in your results or your routine, who can look and say, there is a problem. Thank you, right? I love getting with my mentors. And I'm grateful for being able to offer that sort of same sort of objective view to anyone who's willing to ask. So with that, we're already 20 minutes in. I'm going to stop talking, open up the microphones here. We've got a bunch of people. I see Nicola with her hand up already. Let's bring Nicola out here. What are your thoughts on this routine? Does it serve you? Does it not? Do you know? I don't know. Nicola, what do you think?
Hi, everyone. Good timing, actually. And there's a lot that you said there that resonates with me. So I've launched it's not my Amazon business, the other business I spoke about 3 weeks ago. And I've been like a million miles an hour to get to that point for probably the past 6 months, and not really thought too much about, well, what happens when you launch it? So it's out there, but now my head's just been spinning with, what path do I take to now start to grow it? So it's in the realms of marketing and social media, and that's not my strength. And I know where I want to get to, but there's so many different paths I could take, and different channels and different routes I could take to get there. So I'm kind of conscious I'm 3 weeks down the line. I still haven't really got clarity on that. So I've decided this week, I've just booked myself a couple of nights away on Wednesday it's one of my favorite places, the Lake District. It's just complete tranquility, lakes, nothing. I intend to do nothing. I might not even take the laptop, but I know, even though I haven't got a plan on kind of exactly what I'm going to do when I get there, I know for a fact when I come back, just by clearing my mind, I'll have the answer. So there's just something about getting out of your environment, just taking your mind off the subject. I don't intend to sit down with a pen and paper and come up with plans, but I know for a fact by the time I get back, it will be clearer in my mind. So I kind of trust. So I don't know what it is in that. It's probably similar to meditation, but just like an extended version of it. So, well, that's my hope anyway. So I'll find out by the end of the week whether that's been a success. But yeah, so it's quite similar in a way, but I just think there's some massive benefit in doing that and I think personally when the time feels like you need to do it, and we sometimes leave it too late and then we're kind of forced to do it. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that this week.
Fantastic. Thank you. And of course, we're going to get together with you tomorrow for a group intention, little quiet time. This is beautiful. Thank you, Nicola, for all you do. We're looking forward to hearing your results from that. Oh my goodness, there's no other hands up. That's it. We're done. There's Glenn. Hey, Glenn, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, wait a minute. First of all, Nicola, you have the most magnificent accent I've ever heard in my life. It's absolutely phenomenal.
It's known as for those in England or outside, it's a Geordie. So I'm up north.
Geordie. Oh, well, I'm married to a Brit. I don't even know what that means, but I'll take it. I'll take your word for it. John, are you looking in my window again, man?
Of course.
Like listening to my phone calls. What in the world?
Every day.
I am actually, September is turning out to be a reset month for me because I'm looking at everything and making decisions about what is serving me, what activities, programs, deals and such that are currently in my universe that serve me and which ones don't. Part of it has come from a book that I've started reading by a man named Dr. Ivan Meisner. The book is called Who's in Your Room? Great book, just saying. For me, one of the issues that has held me back, and you probably already figured out this out, John, before I knew it, is for me it's been misguided loyalties, misplaced. Like, yeah, I've been working with this guy for so long, and I paid this money for this program. I really should continue it, and he's such a nice guy. She's such a nice lady. I really ought to keep working with her, and it would be rude for me to. Well, now wait a minute. Where does my loyalty begin? My loyalty begin with the lady down the hall here in the other home office in my house, and us, right? And what's best for our future, what serves us, what makes the most sense for us financially and business wise and all that. And the dude in the mirror is where all the loyalty begins. So I am in the process, and I thank you for the reminder about this, John. Uh, I'm reminding myself daily before I take up that binder for that program that I bought 472 years ago and was about to get back in it. Is this program really serving me? Is this membership in this organization continuing to serve and advance my business goals? If not, well, where's my loyalty? So that's the thing for me. It's about, does this serve me, us, and where are my true loyalties? Hope that helps somebody.
Thank you, Glenn. You just reminded me of something, and that is I've got this course that I'm looking to relaunch, and it's and I say course, but because you and I have spent a lot of time in the online marketing space and buying online training programs, typically there's a lot of content, a lot of filler to give people a big box of stuff because they just spent $1,000 or $2,000 or $4,000. So therefore it's got to look substantial on the computer screen. Oh, look at all the courses, look at all the modules. I got a lot of stuff. The challenge that I'm having with retooling this course, one is just taking the time to do it. But besides that is getting it down to as little as possible, no filler, because I know if you just apply the basic things that are in this course, because you've already got all the other stuff up here. The premise of the course is that you already know what to do. We're just going to get you doing it now. Okay. There's not a whole lot of content in there, but my goodness, if we develop habits around these basic things, combining them with the how-to stuff, which you already know, okay, based on whatever business you're in, you don't need a big box of stuff. And that's why, Glenn, you see this bookshelf here? I've got books I haven't even read yet. I've got audio courses that look really cool, and I spent $1,000. Here, there's one of them right down below, the purple one, right there. It's like a multi-volume series, right? $1,000 for that course. I can't tell you what's in it. I bought it, but now, because out of sight, out of mind, you buy the stuff, you put it on the shelf in the closet, right? So now I've got stuff out here that I'm going to get into. Otherwise, it's going in the garbage because I've had this stuff for decades in some cases. Do we need more and more and more content? Probably not. And look, you mentioned something, and I'm sorry, we're Q&Aing right now, but we're going to get to Joe and Regina next. But you said something, does my participation in this organization serve me, in this membership, this whatever you're doing? Okay. And we've got hopefully we do have multiple things that we do to consistently keep our saw sharp, or to teach us the how-to stuff. We got a lot of people here learning Amazon who are paying either, maybe they did buy the big course, the big box of stuff, or maybe they are, doing continuity, right? I'm paying a couple $100 a month. My goodness, the platform that we host this website on is $300 a month that I pay, right? So fine, whatever. That's just one tool. What am I going to do? Abandon the tool? No, we use that to run businesses. Okay. Does that serve me? Yes, it serves the businesses. But when we think of these other things, we have a friend here in this group. I won't mention her name, but she said that she was paying $600 a month to get private coaching from some person, from some guru or whatever. And she said she didn't get half of what she got here in our free sessions. I was like, well, that's, my ego likes hearing that. Okay. So, and of course, now we've got a full calendar. Glenn, you're on it. Stuart, by the way, I saw Stuart's joke Hummus sometimes makes me falafel. That's funny. I guess if you weren't seeing it in the chat, you just have to look at the words falafel, feel awful. Right. Okay, good. But yeah, does this serve you? The Success Mastermind? I damn well it better. Right? Or let me know that it isn't, right? So something like that. This is also a product. This also should produce a result. And I can tell you that having been in conversations like this one, not just today, okay, but a mastermind type conversation and mentoring and bouncing ideas off other people, having done that for some decades now, oh my goodness, yes. Because one idea can and has made me millions. One idea. I just never know when that one idea is going to show up, right? So consistency. That's what we're talking about today. Part of my routine, anything I'm consistent with, right, is putting in good inputs, right, and hearing from others who are also on the path. That is huge, huge. Somebody told me, John, you need to raise the price of this to $4.99 a month. Now, $500 a month. And I'm like, okay, well, right now it's just $49. By the way, that price is about to go up to the actual price, which will be $99 a month very soon. So we do have people who are looking to join this. They can do that for half of the lowest price that you'll ever see right now. Regina and Joe, you've got the floor. Come on out. Regina and Joe. Joe, there he is.
Yeah, morning, everyone. Yeah, this has just been just an awesome ride. And it's not only that, but the, what was said this morning, really, touches a nerve to me because of, not only the content we're getting from here, but the, we've been getting help from everyone. We've been in contact with Stuart and Star, and the information just coming in from everyone just to help each other. This is what everything's about. It's, passing, paying it forward, just helping other people, not expecting anything, back, just, I just can't say enough about that. And, what it's done, it's like we're going through a lot of stuff, trying to get, things in order and organized to the point where that it'll auto run. And I know that's coming, but in the meantime, yeah, it is a kind of a mess. And we go back and forth. We had a lot of stuff situated the other day, and well, that changed again. So we're, trying to get that, situated again to get it back to where it should be. And, it gets to the point you start getting a little bit crazy, but you have to focus and do, get on that path, look straight ahead, at your goal and achieve it. And we'll all make it. And mostly by the, from what you do and what everybody else does on here. Is just help each other. And we really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. And is Regina in your midst?
Yeah, she's actually on the computer. There was some stuff that came up that she had to finalize this morning. And we have with the other stuff going on, we also have a property rental, and there's been some issues there. And she's got a bunch of calls this morning. You have to send this in, get that in, and do this, do that. She said, well, I already did that, but no, you have to do it again. And it's, one of those kind of things, but it'll get, situated before the day's over. But yeah, she is very close by.
Beautiful. I love you guys. You are so
Thank
awesome.
you.
Everybody in this group, what a fantastic group. I'll tell you what, we're going to have some new members joining here, and they're going to be delighted to meet people like Joe and Glenn and Nicola. And I'm not sure about Stuart or Mark, but these others. Stuart, I was thinking of you while I was out in the wilderness there, man. Actually, the wilderness was, a mile from town, but that's fine. It was wild nonetheless. Anybody else want? Stuart, you want to come out here? You got a comment?
Sure, man. Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't want. Well, let's let Koila say hi.
All right, Koila has got the floor, and then we'll hear from Stuart. Hey, Koila. Where's Koila?
I was going to say, I don't know whether my hand's up or down. I just stuck my hand up just as Stuart started to speak, and yeah, because nobody else had their hand up. And yeah,
we're in the final week of your campaign. This is it.
Yeah, we are. And today, talking of things that do not serve you, today was my last day at the bakehouse. So that is a win. I've now got a few days So I shall be having a look at stuff. I've got a few bits of campaigning left to do, but really it's a postal vote. Most of the votes will be in now. So I'm going to concentrate on a bit of Amazon business, writing a listing and doing a shipping plan and finding some more products and trying to sort out my house and all that kind of thing, and just having a look at where we are. And on Friday, I shall work out what I'm doing after Friday when I know what's happening.
Wow.
So yeah, all is change at the present time, which is not a bad thing. I've done the going through the dark hallway, you see, and I've seen the light, and it's got bigger. So one way or another, it's going to be a better place I come out at, I think.
Wow. Well, we're so excited. This is such a big week for you. And congratulations on your transition out of the bakehouse.
Yeah, oh, yeah, God.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's hear from Stuart, and then we're going to go to Therese. Hey, Stuart.
Hey guys, happy Monday. John, you're on fire today. See what happens when you go out in nature and you recharge, man?
That's
What a
it.
beautiful thing.
You told me.
You know, on Friday when you were getting ready to leave, I had thought about talking about scorpions, but I decided to hold my tongue. So yeah, no scorpions in your boots in the morning.
No, we were up at 6,000 feet. So yeah, scorpions are down here in the desert. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll say a couple of things. I mean, it's, I have an interesting perspective because, my life and my lifestyle for most of my life was living out of nature and sort of always having, or let's say always being fortunate to have those recharge moments, right, as sort of a part of my daily routine. But the cool thing for me as a guide was to sort of see that transformation come over our guests and our people, from all walks of life. And just how amazing it is to see people spend, a couple of days out in nature. People start sort of their circadian rhythms start resetting and reconnecting with the natural cycles. And I just think it's a beautiful thing. And I'm glad to hear that you had a great time and you look magnificent. Nature did you wonders. Two questions. I know, right? Two questions. One, I see top shelf. Is that Muktananda?
Yeah.
Behind you?
You
And then
recognize
mid
Mukti.
shelf,
Yeah.
who's your mid shelf? Who's mid shelf? Is that Krishna Murti or who is
Over there?
Yeah, on the left.
Nityananda. That was his guru, Nityananda.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I've been wondering about that for weeks, man. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Well, now you know. Yeah, City Yoga, man. I've been. I went to Sri Muktananda Ashram in South Fallsburg, New York. We did the meditation and the chanting, and we walked around the garden. Oh man, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right, so there's that. Now we know. Therese, where's Therese? Let's get her out here.
Hello, everyone. Nice
There
to
she is.
see everyone. John, I'm glad you had a nice time. That looked epic. Yeah, so talking about things that don't serve you. And I think for me, there's a person in my life who I've called friend for a lot of years. And I think that I've had moments of strength to like back away from that person. There's been a lot of learning opportunities in terms of kind of standing up for myself and not speaking my mind, but like speaking what I'm feeling in this situation. So, I mean, it's been like a 10-year relationship and there's been lots of like ups and downs, and I pull back and evaluate it. And then I end up back in it again. And it's so interesting to me. But I had another incident this weekend with that person. And so this topic, of course, is right on target. And I feel like she's particularly judgmental of this new, this not new person in my life, but this person's always been a friend of mine, but now I'm spending a little more time with someone else. And I think that I'm seeing some even more unacceptable, I guess, like behavior from her, and I'm trying to understand it, etc. But I guess after listening to this, I just wrote down a few questions for myself. Like, does she serve, what are the ways that she serves me? What is it that I get from that relationship? Or what is it that I don't get from that relationship? And the time that I spend with that person, like, how do I feel after she leaves? And I just kind of wrote down a couple of words like, when she leaves, am I happy? Do I feel productive? Do I feel confident? You know, do I want to see that person again? And then what do I feel? And so I wrote down a few things that I do feel, which are none of those things. I don't feel happy. I don't feel confident. She challenges my eating disorder, frequently will bring things around that try to trigger me. And she makes negative commentary about my relationship and about how she thinks it should be or it shouldn't be, and things that I don't ask for. So, you know, in integrative nutrition, you know, we talk about people never, if you're trying to lose weight, it's never, we're not changing your whole menu. You know, we do it really slowly and subtly by adding things in that are better choices, like nutritional choices for you. So keep eating all the stuff you're eating, but eventually those things will, the healthier things will crowd out those other choices, right? And nutritionally, your body will start craving more and more of those things. And so I was like, okay, well, how can I relate that to this relationship? Because it is in essence a big old bag of fried chips or whatever. It's like a big bag of deep fried French fries that just don't serve me. And so anyway, it really got me thinking. And I know I've spoken about this relationship before, and I've taken step backs and I've limited the time with that person. But this weekend, I just got like too big of a dose of it. And I don't feel, it's Monday morning and I feel like, yeah, I have to make some changes. So I'll keep you guys posted on that because I've got some goals for myself around it. And thank you for the topic today.
Thank you, Therese. And it sounds like you've got someone who may not be conscious of how their words affect you. So, yeah.
Nicely said.
Interesting stuff. Hey, we do have 3 more hands up now, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up. But before we do that, I want to give everyone a reminder that we do have a special UK-friendly time today for our e-commerce work group. That's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time here in the United States. So add 5 hours. That's 9. No, it's 8. 8 p.m. UK time. Special guests, Jane and Neil, working with Stuart today. Topics are product selection, pay-per-click 101. So learn about pay-per-click advertising. That's not a paperclip. That's paying per click. And GTIN and brand exception. So that's 3 p.m. Eastern US time today. And then, of course, we're going to be wrapping up tonight with our book study at 9 p.m. Eastern, middle of the night for our friends in the UK, 11 o'clock in the morning for our friends in Sydney. So back to the excitement. Mark, you've got the floor, then Star, then Mandy. Hey, Mark.
Hey, John, Mark dropped a comment in the chat that he needed to jump off for a moment. So maybe Star next.
Oh, I didn't see the comment in the chat. Star, you've got the floor.
Hello, everybody. Lovely people. Yeah, what is serving me in my life and routine as well. So firstly, my routine was completely broken this weekend because I had lots of social life. Met up with Bill and Jane and Neil this weekend, which was really, really lovely to see them all. And we hung out on Saturday. So my routine was all out, and I have to say I feel a bit all over the place today. It's been a bit of getting everything back in order. My house is a bit of a mess. But then on to what is serving me. I definitely feel like that is a really strong topic for me. And Therese, I think you know that I've spoken about it as well. I've been having issues with a friend who I've completely backed off from now because the behaviour was really negative and quite aggressive. And funnily enough, so this person, her daughter is one of my daughter's friends. So we've sort of all hung out together. We've known each other for years. We've been on holidays together, the 4 of us. But I ended up telling Elvie about it, saying that we weren't talking at the moment. And Elvie went, well, do you know what, Mum? I've never liked Emma. And I was like, oh, interesting. It's quite funny, actually. But she basically tells me that she's been putting up, and doesn't really like her daughter either. Just been putting up with it for my sake. And I've done a lot of analysis of the past and past behaviours and past actions, and I think what it was is I was so needy. I think I was needy in the friendship. And so I forgave a lot of quite bad behavior on her part over multiple years, because I felt I needed that friendship, and I felt that Elvie needed her friendship with her daughter, and I felt that it was something that we needed. And I think one of the things that being here in this love crowd has helped me not need that anymore. And it definitely, I mean, it will affect my social life locally, but do I really want to be hanging around with people that are like that? And the negativity, and also just it's funny, the way Kiyosaki talks about middle class people and how they are misguided, and how middle class people just, you know, they live in a liability thinking it's an asset, that kind of thing. And they get themselves all like indebted up to the eyeballs and think that that's the way of life. And so many of my friends now, I sort of look at them really differently after having this sort of Kiyosaki viewpoint on how things work, and it's just changed my perspective. So I definitely think, Therese, that it's, if they're not serving you, step away. And that's basically what I've done. I mean, it's a bit awkward because I recruited my friend into my company back in March. And this is one of the other things that's become more difficult, is because I'm actually her superior in the team. She works under me, and she's just been so disrespectful. Like, you wouldn't, in a professional capacity, in any sort of working situation, you wouldn't sort of behave like that. So I've just had to sort of go very contractual and emails only, and you know, it's something I'm managing on a day-to-day basis. But it's odd, but I do feel better, and I feel stronger now that I've made that decision, that that friendship was not serving me, and it wasn't serving Elvie. So it sometimes takes strength to walk away from these things. I mean, for me, that's like an 8-year friendship, which I'm stepping away from. So, but it's clearing the space for new, positive, supportive friends who have value, because we should all have value. And you know how Joe was saying earlier, you know, we are all here to help each other. And if you've got friends that are not helping you, then step away. So that's what I'll say.
Well, thank you, Star. And it seems like there's clearing going on, whether we're talking about our routines or those influences that cause our routines as well. So thank you, my friend. Is Mark back with us? Mark, are you here? Mark, and we have Mandy, and then I think we'll be wrapping up. Mark, no, yes. Mandy, yes. Let's go to Mandy, and then we'll see if Mark is back with us. Hey, Mandy.
Hey, hello. Right, a couple of things came up for me here. You were talking about balance and working all the time. And you do get to the point that it's whether you're being productive or not, because you get so tired, and you do look very refreshed for having away for the weekend. And also how you have a balance with your family and everything. Susan Jeffers did do something once, which I think she called the Wheel of Life, where she did a circle, and then in that she broke it down into your work, your career, spiritual, health, community, I think, relationships, family, and you could see how that like pie chart was actually separated in your area. So if you've got works doing all of this, you know that that's not what you want to be. And I thought that was quite good. And a couple of weekends ago, when I think everything was just getting on top of me, I decided that I was going to walk out the house. And obviously my son was told not to leave him there. I didn't leave him alone. And I spent a week, about 4 hours down at the local nature reserve. And I just went and sat there by the lake for about 3 hours, I think, just looking out. I happened to also catch up with Parkport at the time while I was there on my phone, until I lost all my data and used it all up and decided that I couldn't do that any longer. It was really worth doing, because you can come back, like Nicola says, and you do really start to think about it. You get a change in your mindset about, and it can open up opportunities. I have been looking at for about weeks now how I'm doing everything, what is serving me, what isn't. When I was working before, when I was working at home in my actual job, I would just get here and I would sit at where I am now at the dining room table, and I would stay there for 9 o'clock, and I would get up at 5 o'clock and I would go, but I was doing the work I needed to do for them. Now it's my company. It's how are you doing it? Because after that, I started doing the exercising and I was doing the reading. But I was finding that doing the exercising, I wasn't starting anything to 11 o'clock. And then Joe Wick stopped doing it, and it was like, okay, so I want to add that back in now because I'm not doing it. At the moment, if I could add one thing back into the mix, which I'm probably not on my own and I know I can't do, is I'd add more time into the mix, because I'm really trying to work out so do I catch up with everything on JLSM? How long should I spend on Think and Grow Rich? So I actually, with the last chapter, I read it, listened to it twice, printed it off, read it once, highlighted it all, never got a chance to upload it on Facebook, but because it was a really detailed chapter. Whereas you can read the chapter you're doing auto suggestion tonight like that. I did it in about 20 minutes. And I also looked at the 12-week year, and I looked at positive discipline, which was another thing I looked at. Both of them are helping, but you have to actually then put them into practice. And I started putting the 12-week year into practice, and I think that is going to help. But it's sticking to it. So I think, yeah, it's just working out with all of that what is benefiting me. And I think all of it is. That's the thing. All of it is benefit, isn't it? Bits of it, and it's just working out which one you should do. So yeah, if anybody can find a way to add more time, let me know.
Yeah, get things done.
Yeah.
Completing what you start reduces time. Yeah, that's how you do it. Thank you, Mandy. We'll see you tonight for book study, hopefully. So let's see, Mark.
In the morning, me.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm back, John.
The replay there. Mark's back. All right, Mark.
I am back. Sorry, I had
today.
Queen Bee had a short urgent matter I had to jump on, so I took care of that. We're talking about loyalty. Funny, we had that as part of a conversation last week. But I think loyalty in this case, instead of it being a choice between this and integrity, I suppose you could maybe argue the point to some degree in this. Now loyalty becomes its own ally, and its own adversary in a way. You have loyalty to others, but you also have loyalty to oneself. You have loyalty to business or multiple businesses, and loyalty, depending on how closely you do something, you connect with it, it can override, it could overarch, a certain direction you want to go as opposed to that in another. So I find it interesting that, where do you draw the line? And I have great guilt in making, misjudgments in that regard too, figuring out how far do I take loyalty and support loyalty towards a person or an entity or a thing before I finally say, hey, my loyalty and my support of myself and where I'm going is now a detriment. Where's that dividing line? When do you say, how do you weigh that? Do you do the Franklin approach and you're doing your lists and you're figuring out these are the positives and the negatives? At what point is it really that defined and that objective, or are you just saying, well, it's obvious that if this is failing, maybe I need to reassess this? And I see this in the business perspective as well. With multiple channels that I'm working on right now is, doing, a matter of fact, just had this conversation with a couple of our folks here that I do some an accountability session on a weekly basis with. And it's this sort of, the sine wave, as one goes down and you have a little more time, maybe you refocus energy. So I guess, and I don't know that that's such a loyalty issue. It could be you have a loyalty to both, but maybe it's a reprioritization of what you're doing. And it just, so in my book, what it does is help me stay connected. And while I have maybe not necessarily a valley, but a slow point or where things have slowed down, I can then re-exercise and focus my loyalties on this item to give it some energy to keep both going, so that that also breaks that breaks the kinetics, so to speak, and keeps the inertia moving. Your room here, I just can't say enough, John. It's making me think about all sorts of stuff, and it's just getting me hardwired, man. You're onto something here, and I'm glad to be here. This is very helpful. Thanks.
Thank you, brother. So glad you're here with us. And this is just the beginning. So any burning desires today before we wrap up? We are 55 minutes in. We're good to go, everybody? All right, fantastic. So we do have a hospitality suite. If you've got some things you want to kick around, ideas with our friends here. And then 2 hours from now, we're going to get together for e-commerce work group with Stuart and Jane and Neil. So it's going to be lots of fun. I'll see you guys back here tonight, myself, at 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time for book study. In the meantime, make it a great day. You absolutely deserve it. Bye for now.